Hello, good morning, afternoon, evening, and mixer, and everyone who watching this video. Today, I will explain about what is language. So, language is a system of communication composed of sounds, symbols, and rules that allows humans to convey meaning. It enables us to express our thoughts, emotions, and ideas, and need through words and sentences that are understood by others. Language is unique to humans, and it plays a key role in every aspect of our life. Okay, for example, think about how you communicate your feelings with friends. Whether you are happy or sad, you use words and sentences structure in a specific way to let them know how exactly you feel. Expanding these ideas, language is what allows us to move beyond basic emotion and express complex ideas like discussing politics or art. Okay, so that's all about the definition of language. And next, let's move to language versus linguistics. Okay, while language is the tool we use for communication, linguistics is the scientific study of language itself. Linguistics studies how language works, how they change over time, and how they are learned. It examines everything from sounds and words to the structure of sentences and how language interacts with society. For example, linguists might study how children learn first language or how certain dialects develop in specific regions. The goal of linguistics is to understand the underlying system that governs all human languages. For example, if you have ever noticed that some people say tomato differently depending on where they live, that's something a linguist might study. Okay, and next I will explain. Okay, and next I will explain about linguistic versus non-linguistic communication. Not all communication is linguistic. Humans also use non-linguistic communication, such as gestures, facial expression, and body language to convey messages. For example, nodding your head typically means yes, while shaking it means no. However, non-linguistic communication does not have the same complexity or precision as language. Animals also communicate in non-linguistic ways. Birds might sing to mark their territory, and bees perform dance to show other bees where to find nectar. But while these forms of communication are effective for their purposes, they lack the rich variety and flexibility of human language. Okay, for example, when dog barks at the door, it might be telling you that someone is outside, but it cannot explain who it is, what they are wearing or why are they are there. Language give humans the ability to convey all those details and more. Okay, let's talk about the key feature of language, which is mean dual articulation. Okay, one of the unique features of human language is dual articulation. This means that we can combine a small number of meaningless sounds to create an infinite number of meaningful words. For instance, the sound C, A, and T by themselves don't have meaning, but when combined, they form the word cat, which refers to a specific animal. This ability allows languages to be incredibly flexible and creative. We can create new words as needed, and thus words will follow this one basic rule of combination, making them understandable to other speakers of language. So, for example, consider with the word selfie. This word didn't exist until recently, but it was created by combining existing sounds to describe the act of taking picture oneself. Okay, next I will talk about syntax. Syntax, which is sentence structure, or how sentences are building. Okay, first I will explain what is syntax first. Syntax is the set of rules that governs how words are arranged into sentences. It's what allows us to create an infinite number of sentences using a limited vocabulary. Through syntax, we can create complex ideas and convey different meanings by simple rearranging words. Okay, for example, the dog chased the cat is a completely different sentence from the cat chased the dog. Even though they use the same word, syntax is crucial because it's not just the word we use. Okay, I will give you another example. In English, the typical sentence structure is subject, verb, object, or is VO. For example, I like pizza, but in other languages like Japanese, the order might be different. For example, subject, object, verb, resulting in a sentence like I pizza ate it. Okay, so that's about syntax. And next, let's move to micro function. Next, let's move to micro function language. Okay, so language serves several micro functions or smaller specific purposes in our daily life. Here there are few. First, psychological function, second, social function, the, the third, recording function, and make and yeah, that's all. And first, I will explain about psychological function. Psychological physiological function means language helps release energy or emotion, like when you are screaming at a concert or cheer at sport games. And then the second, social function. It means language helps us to connect with others. We use it to greet, ask for help, or simply make small talk to be polite. Okay, and the last is recording function. It means language allows us to document things like making to-do lists, writing history books, or keeping a record of scientific data. And for the example, think of how you use language every day. Whether it's updating your status on social media, sending a text message, or jotting down notes in class, language is consistently at work serving different functions. Okay? And next, I will explain to you guys about macro function of language. Okay, linguist Michael Halliday identified several macro functions of language, which refer to the broader purposes language serves in society. So there are ideational function, interpersonal function, and poetic function and textual function. So first I will explain about ideational function first. Ideational function means we use language to represent the world and share ideas about it. When we describe even objects or experiences, we are using language to represent our understanding of reality. Take, for example, when you tell someone about your day, you are using language to describe perception of the world around you. Okay, next, I will explain about interpersonal function. It means language helps us to interact with others and establish social relationships. With just the way we speak, depending on who we are talking to. A friend, a teacher, or a strangers. For example, when talking to a professor, you might speak more formally than you would with your best friend. And next, it's poetic function. So it means this river to using language for creative expression, such as poetry, songs, or jokes. It's language as an art form. Okay, for example, a rhyming poem uses the sounds of words to create a pleasing rhythm. So, adding to its adding to its artistic value. The last is textual function. So this textual function means language allows us to structure information in coherent ways. Whether we are writing story, an essay, or an email, we use language to create organized and meaningful text. Okay, I will give you an example. So when you write an essay, the way you structure your introduction, body, and conclusion is an example of the textual function of language. Okay, and next I will talk about language signs, which is arbitrary and iconic. Language sign can be either arbitrary or iconic. Most language signs are arbitrary, meaning there is no inherent connection between the word and its meaning. For example, there's nothing about the sound of word tree that directly connects to the physical object of a tree. Different languages use entirely different sounds to refer the same object. On the other hand, iconic signs have a direct resemblance to their meaning. For example, onomatopoeic words like buzz imitate the sound they represent. For example, in English, the sound of rooster is written as cook a doodle do, while in other languages it might be written differently. But all uh, but all these variations are attempts to mimic the actual sound the rooster makes. And next I will explain about language and social context. So, language is not used in isolation. The way we speak changes depending on the context. Whether we are talking to a friend, writing a formal letter, or giving a presentation. It is known as register, and it is one of the key ways language adapts to social situation. Okay, I will give you example. So for the example, you might say, "Hey, what's up?" to a friend, but to a professor, you would likely say, "Hello, how are you?" So it's the example of language and social context. And next, I will explain to you what the conclusion that I can explain to you guys. And for the conclusion, I think language is more than just a tool for communication. No, It is a vital part of human identity and social interaction. By understanding how language works, we gain insight into how human think, relate to each other, and express their understanding of the world. It is flexibility, creativity, and complexity to make language one of the most powerful tools human possess. I think that's all from me about what is language. I hope you can enjoy my video and thank you for all of your attention, sir.